The real Yeat story. We can watch that. Because I actually don't know much about Yeat.
It's just like I enjoy making music, so it's like more fun.
Oh, that's Yeat.
Fun thing to do.
Sorry about that.
Yeat is a name you've probably heard tossed around in the last year or so. You might know him for his hit song, Sorry About That. Or you may have seen all the cosigns he's been getting from people like Trippie Redd, Lil Uzi, and even Drake himself. Now he's quickly riding the wave from underground artist to a mainstream trendsetter. Unless you've been following him since he started making music in 2016, it might seem like he came out of nowhere, but I can assure you that's definitely not the case.
Cause I've been doing this shit for like super long time, like no promotion, nothing, just dropping the music.
Good for him. I honestly think that the best way, at least for like the beginning of people's careers, is don't buy promotion. Literally invest all your money, if you're going to, into like making your music better. Because you can invest in promotion once you get your sound down, but you like realistically, you're not going to have a unique voice because everybody copies everybody. Like you always emulate somebody at the very beginning of your career. And they can always go back to that music later on if it is fire. So, and you can promote it if it like random songs on SoundCloud blow up all the time. Like YB and Namir, like what was it called? Op something, Stoppa, something like that. Or like shit with Tekka. Stop taking off the good
On February
videos.
26, Noah Oliver Smith was born in Irvine, California to his Romanian mother and Hispanic father. Although not a lot is known about Noah's childhood, there are a few things he's spoken about. His father was a member of a band, so music has essentially always been a part of his life, and this would over time inspire him. Growing up in the early 2000s, he fell in love with listening to artists like T-Pain, Jay-Z, and Kanye.
T-Pain was the GOAT.
But at age 13, he and his family moved from California to Oregon. Environmentally, Oregon wasn't exactly the most inspiring
Am I going to Miami Rolling Loud? If they send me the ticket, the media pass like they said they would.
place to be, as it doesn't have much of a music
Doesn't he look high as fuck in that picture? Look at his eyes. They're all red.
scene at all. But at the time, he was just going to high school and trying to find a direction in life. Attending Lake Ridge High in Oswego, he of course made a few friends. One of these friends would invite Noah over after school one day. They happened to have a home studio and a microphone in his closet. Now before this point, he never seriously considered music, but he admits at the time that he had been taking acid pretty often. After experiencing the effects, he said it made him feel like he could accomplish anything he put his mind to. With that,
So maybe Yeat just fucked up his head and took too much acid, and then he just became Yeat. And he became this confident dude who just like fucks shit up. Like before that, maybe that's why his photos from high school and middle school look so different. Like he looked like a suburban kid. He took some acid and he transformed.
that being said, he hopped in the booth for the first time around 2016 and started recording songs. Throughout 2016 and 2017, he released a few songs on SoundCloud and YouTube, but he was still struggling to find his sound. Now that he looks back on his earlier music, he says it was pretty bad, but at the time he felt like it was amazing, and this was the key factor that kept him going.
It's crazy because I thought I was good the whole time. I feel like that's what kept me going. Cause like I thought I was good like then.
After graduating high school in 2018, he decided to move from Oregon to New York. He knew he would have a much better shot at networking and getting heard in a place that's more tuned in with the music scene. After arriving in New York, he got straight to work. He changed his name from Lil Yeat to just Yeat to simplify things.
He was Lil before?
And he dropped his first song on YouTube titled Brink. The song was featured on the popular channel Elevator, which was a smart move seeing that he pretty much had 0 followers at this point. The song got over 30,000 views, which may seem like a small amount, but
Wait, his first song?
and he dropped his first song on YouTube titled Brink. The song was featured on the popular channel Elevator, which was a smart move seeing that he pretty much had 0 followers at this point. The song got over 30,000 views, which may seem like a small amount, but it was a lot more than he would have gotten if he dropped the song on a fresh channel. On top of it, he received a good response from listeners, and this would help him build his first initial group of fans. It was small, but it was a start. His move across the country started to pay off almost immediately. He started collabing and meeting other underground artists and producers. Two of these would be his long...
Shout out to Acid, for real. He evolved from Lil Yeat to Yeat. Like fucking Charizard.
...time collaborator Cam Cam and also popular producer Danny Wolf. Danny Wolf and Yeat would drop their 3-song EP, Deep Blue Stripes, at the end of 2018, which included...
Damn, so he got the Danny Wolf co-sign first. Isn't he like a big producer in the underground?
...song Brink once again. Although it was a re-release, the song would get over 70,000 plays on SoundCloud this time. In an interview recently, he went public stating he doesn't write any of his music. He mostly just freestyles.
Nobody really writes their music anymore. It's all like punching in.
However he's feeling in that moment. Although this strategy doesn't work for a lot of artists, it gives him the ability to make up to 15 songs in a day.
I've been making a lot of songs. Like, I've been making so many songs. Like last month, I probably made like over 200. Some days it'd be like 15 songs, and some days it'd be like a couple. Some days I'll be cranking them out, like going crazy.
That's a lesson for everybody here. Make as many, like if you're a musician or you're a YouTuber or whatever, make as many videos, make as many iterations as possible. If you're a Twitter god, tweet as much as possible to figure out like what works and what doesn't. Same thing with recording music, making YouTube videos, streaming. Like it's all about iterations.
I'm on the edge to get this.
He realized quickly that he had way more music than he was releasing, and he just felt like it was dumb to hold on to it all. This gave him the idea to just start flooding his songs online, even creating a second SoundCloud channel for what he calls his throwaway music.
Like his archive?
Unfortunately, he did run into a few issues in his creative process. He says he didn't like to record in a studio or with an engineer. He'd rather just do everything himself at his own pace. But he didn't like how his music was coming out and felt like the mix was off. Fortunately, he had joined a Twitter group chat for upcoming artists, and through this, he was meeting a lot of new people. One day, his friend and fellow artist Wyland came over his house in New York, and he ended up giving him a bunch of new plugins to mix
There's Arshawn.
his songs. After this, he noticed a dramatic difference in his sound, and this helped create the uniqueness of his music. Throughout 2019 and 2020, Yeat didn't hold out on releasing anything.
Yeat is crazy for engineering himself. Here's the thing though, I feel like every rapper should know how to engineer themselves. Maybe not make beats because that's a whole different process and it's hard to do that and and put the vocals on top. But you should know how to, like, first of all, engineering yourself, like there are presets where you can have the primary vocals, the secondary, and then the ad-libs. And then once you have the preset, like literally you don't even have to engineer anymore other than like tweak shit from time to time.
Dropping over 5 mixtapes and EPs, he started to gain a solid popularity in the underground. His work ethic was unlike most coming out at the time. Pretty much every month he was dropping music and new fans were pouring in slowly. This was enough for him to sign a deal with an undisclosed label. But this proved to be problematic and short-lived before he was fully independent once again. This would later down the road turn out to be a blessing in disguise. His single Stay Up would once again be featured on the Elevator YouTube channel, and you could see the growth between his first song and second song on here. This time he got over 170,000 plays.
I don't think at this point he had evolved into Yeat yet. He still love Yeat. Like he still looks suburban in this Elevator music video, whereas, you know, now he instead of giving him a Firestone to turn into fucking Arcanine, somebody gave him Lean, and then he just started like growing.
And it really showcased the evolution of his style. One thing that Yeat always did good was make sure he had solid beats behind his music. By the end of 2019, he had
That is literally the most important thing nowadays. Fire beats.
enough buzz going for him that he even got Wheezy to produce for him. Make no mistake though, he was still very much in the underground, but everything was about to change.
Such a sub. Show me love.
Going into 2021, music all around was changing, and if anything, it became increasingly harder to stand out. A lot of new artists were trying to recreate others' viral successes, and because of this, a lot of music was sounding the same. But because Yeat had already been grinding for years and established his own unique blend of sounds, his music did stand out. He patiently waited for his moment. In June of 2021, he released his mixtape for
I just listened to this. I had already heard it back in 2021 when y'all put me on to him originally, but like I wasn't feeling it. but I just went back and listened to that shit while I was building the table that's behind me, and this shit goes crazy. This might even, I don't know, there's some songs on here.
Overall, this project was a huge success, and it's credited to bringing his name in front of a whole new audience of people. Most notably, his song Sorry About That would get picked up by the TikTok algorithm and go viral. This created a whole wave of momentum, and his name started to circulate online as word spread. And because he had such a massive backlog of music from years before, fans now had hundreds of songs to go back and listen to.
Facts.
Following this up, he dropped another breakout song, Get Busy, which again would go viral on TikTok for the bell he put in the song.
This will send me a beat, I'll make the song, and then I'll go through and like add some shit. Like I'll be putting the bells on a lot of these songs I be dropping. It's not the producers, I be putting the bells on them.
So he puts the bells on there. For Yeat's next birthday, somebody got to give him like a bell cake. You got to cut that bell. That'd be funny.
Just months later, it wasn't only fans talking about this new rapper with the new style. In September, Trippie Redd and Drake would both post on their Instagram with Yeat's music playing in the background. Drake took it a step further and even tagged him on his story, and later invited him out to party with him.
Damn.
Of course, anytime artists this big stamp an upcoming rapper, it's a sure sign.
I wonder if when that happened, Yeat was like super chill about it, like I think he would be, or if he was, you know, if Drake invited you to go out one night, or maybe he flew you out, or maybe he picked you up in the PJ. He's got a fucking OVO plane, a fucking owl. This is Harry Potter. He flies an owl to you to pick you up. I'd be pissing my pants. I'd be like, shit, I gotta shave my balls out here. Like Drake is gonna get me hella bitches. Like I bet you just being around Drake, it's a whole like, you just puff out your chest. You alpha at that point.
You should probably check them out as well. Just 1 month later, Yeat was inking a $1 million record deal with none other than Interscope. In just a few months, he took himself from up-and-coming artist to having his name all over the internet and hanging out with some of the biggest in the game. Of course, this also sparked industry plant rumors because it was hard for people to believe he organically gained such a large buzz this fast. But in reality, Yeat is just another example that making authentic...
I didn't think he was an industry plant because I saw like all of the growth. But I did at first think that Drake or Zach Bia, like Drake got paid or something. But now I was told by like their team that Drake did not, like they didn't pay Drake to do that shit. He did it out of love.
Music and staying in your lane will ultimately pay off if you keep working.
That was a great doc. Shout out to fucking Publish X. This shit was crazy. Especially like the music that he put a low pass filter on in the background. I need to start doing that shit. That was good. Puff out my lean gut. Legit. When you with Drake, it don't even matter what you look like. You could be like 300 pounds overweight like a sumo wrestler. You could have a huge lean gut that literally took over your entire body, and somehow he's gonna get you laid just because bitches, they gonna be like, oh my God, you're friends with Drake? Like, let me suck you off and then maybe you can like put me in cahoots with Drake as well next time. Or maybe like we can have a threesome or something, you know? Bob and Industry Plant, yo. I saw some page, I'm not gonna name them, but they said, and that's a good point, Sty Cobain, because Zach would have did the same thing for Kobe if he got paid. Like as in if Drake was paid, Zach manages a bunch of rappers. I think he even manages like Slump Sixes and SSG Kobe and other people, or he's involved somehow. I don't know if it's technically management, but Drake would have done that for multiple people, but he did it out of love. And how much do you even pay Drake for like a shout out on Instagram? That's like, man, that's like fucking, that's a career changer. That's like $1 million right there. So as I was saying though, there was a page that said that I like was gatekeeping people from the industry. I was like, I'm not even in the industry. What are you talking about? They said I was gatekeeping. I don't gatekeep. Oh God, I literally listen to the music that y'all send me. I ain't do shit.